Oh shit.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit.
Fuck you.
I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I and I brought Nathan with me.
What's up?
I have to mute myself though because I don't need to be back in my own ear. Hi. I
Hi.
need to luxuriously sip like a cancer too. Little sippy
Oh,
sippy.
always the
Graveyard girl
best.
style. Yes. So look, this live came about because I have decided, first of all, that every Friday is just gonna be the day because two of them are already double feature Friday. If you didn't know that, then why the fuck don't you? Also
For
probably
real though.
hit the notification bell. Speaking of double feature Fridays, it's part of Witchy Weekend, and you know, guess who's on the next day after us on Saturdays? Drunken Divinations, one half of right here. Um, Also, you can find BlueNightts channel down underneath. It's so weird calling you that now.
Is it? I don't know why.
It is.
Everybody's YouTube names seem to stick, but mine.
I think for me it's because I knew you via Facebook first.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Right? Like I knew you had a channel. I knew you were one of the YouTube peoples.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw you most and interacted with you most on Facebook.
Via the Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which has your name. So,
Yeah, true.
that's why I like people like BlueNight and I'm like, that sounds kind of familiar. And then I saw your face and I was like, "Oh, it's Nathan."
Yeah.
Okay.
It could also, I mean, my YouTube channel name was Nate the K for the longest time too. So
Oh, I think I remember that too.
that was
Okay.
forever and a day ago.
I mean, look, it
Yeah.
feels familiar. Either way, um, we was talking on the phone as we do sometimes, and
Yes.
we got into some really juicy topics I haven't heard talked about in a little while.
It was like Sunday chicken and waffles.
It
That's how
was,
juicy it was.
yes, and so I was like, wait a minute, why? Let's just do this in a live. Like, put a pin in it. Let's do it in a live. Would you be willing? And he was like, girl, yes.
Girl, absolutely. Let's
Yes.
do it.
So
Let's
here
do it.
we are. Again, you can find the link to his channel underneath. But yeah, we're gonna talk about all kinds of things. But this is gonna go where it goes. Like, you know how I roll, guys. I'm very like natural flow of conversation. But I do know that we're gonna start off by talking about deity and sort of like what that looks like to us or what we've kind of come to understand it as or how we maneuver within the realm of deity even
Mm,
within our practices,
yes.
that kind of thing.
This is going to be a loaded topic.
I know, right? Because like here's the thing, if there's one thing for sure that I can state right off the bat is that everybody's relationship to that and outlook to it is very personal to them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like everybody kind of has their own way of seeing it, their own way of doing it. And that makes sense to me because I also think like our relationship with deity oftentimes reflects our relationship with self. And that also depends on the kind of view that you have, polytheism and things like that, that I'm sure we'll get into in a second. But
Oh,
uh,
surely.
yes, but also like, hi, Brianna.
Hey,
Hi,
girl.
Alondra. Hi, Draven. Hi, Bex. Hello,
Hey, hey, hey.
everybody. Um, I'll ask once again before we get into it. If you haven't already, please share. Hey, Sarah. Long time no see. I miss your face. But yeah, please share. Let everybody know because this is my first time like doing other things and branching out. So let's get the activity going. Help my algorithm, please. All right.
Girl,
Let's
it ain't
just
the
be
same as
honest.
it used to be. Y'all gotta share, please. Please. If you got other devices, mute them and please pull them up. Pull us up. I ain't ashamed. I ain't ashamed.
Yes. But no, so like we were talking about deity. I think the first thing I remember is we were talking about like our view of it.
Right.
And we were talking about the tree thing.
The tree thing, which is genius.
So the tree thing is something that I've used to describe how I view deity for a while now. It took me a while to figure it out too, because hard polytheists, soft polytheists, etc., never fully felt right.
So can you
I could kind of
do
go to
me a
any of them.
favor? Do me a favor.
Break it down.
Explain the difference between
I
those
was
things.
about to break it down. Break it down.
Thank you.
So, polytheism is the belief in multiple gods, goddesses, whatever. Now, hard and soft is not as kinky as you'll think.
Hard.
But hard and soft has to do with your outlook on how individual they are. So a hard polytheist would see, for instance, like, let's see, give me two like dark goddess aspects, Kali and the Morrigan, we'll say. Sure. So the Morrigan and Kali could, to a hard polytheist, they are two completely separate beings. Their energy sources aren't the same. Like they are two. It's like living with two different roommates. They are their own people, right?
Okay.
A soft polytheist sees them as that, but also acknowledges that they sort of are intertwined, right? So like they are both from this dark goddess archetype. Yep. And they can kind of blend, right? So it's like, it'd be like having a, follow me here, but like maybe like having a roommate that has did. It's the same system, same being, same person, but different individuals within that.
Kind of like a drag queen.
I mean, okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, different personalities, different. Yes.
But the same, but different.
Yeah, and some people with soft polytheism also see that as like a like different archetypes of the mind, things like that. You could take it there too. So like they work with different gods or goddesses because they see that as having different aspects psychologically to help them work through things, which is what I was talking about that relationship also oftentimes reflects our relationship with ourselves or what we would ideally want it to be. And the struggles that god or goddess goes through and what their strengths are usually tie into what our own are. Now, whether that's because we choose them or they choose us or it's a co-creation, that's up to you, baby. But I'm just saying it usually has a very similar sort of vibe there. Yeah, whether we always want that or not. But yeah, so hard polytheists and soft polytheists are that. Now, there's also things like omniist, which is like everything is one. It's one God. And there's also pantheist. Pantheist, which is very much more so, I guess, like the land itself being that.
Right.
You know? So there's a lot of different, and that's just like tip of the iceberg. There's other ones that break down and all. I highly encourage people to go look at etymology and break that shit down because I love etymology. I am a hoe for etymology. It's true.
Hoe etymology.
Yes.
Hoe etymology.
It's a whole lot of fun. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So that's kind of the breakdown of what we're talking about. So now, for me, I kind of flow in between a lot of those because I could kind of do any aspect of that depending on what I want to do.
Absolutely. Same.
Yeah. So like for me, the analogy that I gave about the tree was I see the trunk as sort of source energy or the energy that is in all things. And it's that core. But then we have the limbs, the bigger major limbs, and they could be sort of like the pantheons. And then the branches out from that would be more like the archetypes, perhaps, or something like that. And then out from there, you have your leaves, and your leaves are completely individual. No leaf is like the other leaf necessarily, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the leaves would be the actual deities themselves to me. So that is where you see like a hard polytheist sort of outlook. I don't know why I emphasized it that way. Emphasis hard polytheist. No, that's where you see that. And then your branches are individual to some extent, but they're a little more alike. And then as you go down to the trunk, eventually it all becomes one. And so it's sort of like, I guess, almost a chaos magic approach a little bit, because it like depends on what I'm doing, where I want to be on the tree.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
No spot is wrong,
right?
Or better. It's all part of a system, but it's also capable of being very individual.
Right.
So that's how I viewed it. And Nathan gave another example also, and then was like, I'm gonna take your tree thing, bitch.
Yeah, because that's way better. So I always described it to people as facets of the same crystal. So like you can look at this side of this crystal, which is like, it's super slender on this facet, right? Or this side, right here, compared to this side. Wait, this you see side. One, this side,
it's wider,
which is wider, but they're still the same crystal,
Yeah,
they look very different no matter which, depending on the way you look at it. It's the same crystal, but it's a very different image. So
yeah,
that's always the way I would kind of describe it. But the tree thing, thefted.
But I like the crystal one too, because it also reminds me of different sort of masks that they would wear.
Right.
Absolutely. Where it's coming from the same energy, but it's taking on that role that would better fit or suit or like be something that you relate to more. Which is something that I always found very interesting too, is like, so like people who maybe have some trauma around a masculine deity, we'll say, like masculine energy in general in their lives, perhaps they got some daddy issues, you know what I'm saying? I find it interesting that some of them will be drawn. Sorry, daddy. But I find it interesting that they will sometimes either be completely repelled like strongly, and lean towards very like sort of stereotypically feminine energy. Or they will lean into the fatherliest father ever.
Ow, I feel attacked. No, I'm just kidding.
But I think that's because they're seeking that healing. They're seeking to understand where they fit in, because deity also very much is sort of parents to us in some form.
Yep. I call mine mom all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Talk to mama. Talk to mom. Mama jamma.
Oh, black daddy. Dancing gone wild. Yes. Yes. So
yes, absolutely.
In my house, we like to just put whatever in that space, like bramble jam. Whatever works.
I thought you were going somewhere else with that sentence.
Yes. We're good. It's Mark. Hi, Mark. Hi, Leslie. Hello, everybody. So I'm gonna put this to the chat too. Like, how do you guys view deity? How do you work with deity? Do you see them as more hard or soft, giggly, or like ominous? Like, what are you? Every time I say it, I'm gonna say that now. Yeah.
Cut it.
What are we cutting?
The meatloaf.
Meatloaf. I'm coming over.
Come on over.
Wait.
Come on over. Come on over, baby. Thanks, Leslie, for your 2 devices.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much.
Gracias.
My sad algorithm thanks you.
Everybody's algorithm
Oh,
sad,
goodness.
girl. Just, it is what it is.
It is, but it's okay.
It's okay.
I'm like, this is fine, and everything's on fire. No, it's okay.
Life.
Yes.
Me today, as I was muggling.
Oh my
Muggling.
goodness. Muggling.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and then another thing that we talked about too is like we don't go to them for everything.
Right. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Some people do. Some people go to them for like it's like their first stop is Deity. And then others have completely different processes around it.
Yeah.
And again, pointing out that's something that's very personal. And people have different relationships with their deities, So like and again, that could go back to their relationship with themselves and
Absolutely.
their practice and
Absolutely. Yes.
relationship to relationships in general.
Absolutely. Oh, nice.
You're welcome. And that was my relationship with my burp. I found it very rewarding. It was my offering.
I love it.
Thank you. They did too. They were very appeased.
Yes.
But yeah, so like another thing is we were talking about how I'm more likely to go to the ancestors first.
Right. Yeah.
I will go to deity, but I tend to go to them with the bigger things. Or if I'm going to them, it's not to ask of something, it's usually to give or think.
Right.
Yeah. Unless they like smack me upside the head,
Right. That just it just makes more sense that way for me personally, because I'm like, half the time if you were to go to my goddess, it's gonna be cryptic one day, and then the next day
she's just mad.
She's just gonna be like, why are you bothering me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I tell you what you need to do and you do it.
Right. Why are there
this
questions?
Wasn't on the list. Why are you questioning me? So it's like,
you're not scheduled until 6 on Tuesday. Why are you here?
Yeah. It's like, did you finish that? Then why are we slow down?
Right.
So I think I used the words with you that some things for me, it's like I would be like, ooh, I can't go to her for that. She'd ignore me.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I was telling you too, like with my group, it depends on where I went, but like they wouldn't necessarily solve it for me. They give me more homework. Right. And sometimes that's not what I want.
Right. Can you bring it here, babe?
Yeah. So I mean, because like for those who don't know, for me, my main ones that I work with are Hecate, which is a familial thing, and then Hel and Odin, and also the Morrigan I work with as well now, which is like a newer development. Well, newer as in like
newer
development. The last.
Yes, sir. That looks done. Yep, you're good.
Year and a half, probably. I think at this point, year and a half. I say newer tongue in cheek because she's always been like around, through people and that kind of thing, and then finally, she was just like, "Hey, asshole! Like, why do you think that?"
Bitch, listen. Right.
But yeah, so like those are my core. I do have others that I work with. I don't mention them on this platform, just for the sake of respect and responsibility. But yeah, so those are my main ones. And so let me tell you, if I go to like hell with something, and I'm like, oh, I really want this, she's gonna like raise an eyebrow and be like, so what have you done? What have you sacrificed for it? What are you prepared to sacrifice for it?
Right.
And then you're like,
what
I don't really want to
up?
get rid of things. I just would like that thing. And she's like, don't waste my time. Like,
Get out.
dismissed.
Get out.
Yeah.
You know how
Come
this
to me when
works?
you're prepared to sacrifice.
Right.
Um, and then Hecate would just be like, interesting. Let's set in our shadows and figure out why we want that.
Ooh.
Why do you think you want that? And I would be like, oh, God damn it.
Yes. Yes.
And Odin would tell me something cryptic, as he does, and then wink and maybe show me his spear. Like, so you got my back, and also you're telling me shit that I'm gonna have to think about for a while now, and it's gonna be like slowly revealed to me, and then it's gonna be something that was really obvious and in my face. This is gonna be fun.
Thanks.
Yes. And then Morgan, depending on what you bring to her, like it's pretty much what you were saying, Nathan. It's very much like a why are you here? We were not scheduled. And or she mad.
Yeah.
Or she just mad. Like it's
Yeah.
not like a why are you here? We were not scheduled. It's like a why are you here? I have a busy day.
Yeah.
State your business, please. Let's go.
Yeah. Or sometimes, you know, she'll pop in and it's like she's upset that I didn't do a certain thing a certain way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's the whole like
Morgan's like that Dom that didn't sign up for brats.
yeah. Yeah.
Think about it. Get back to me.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Like she's just frustrated by it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
I do not have patience for this. Stop like fucking back talking me, child.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Or sometimes I feel like maybe I should like I'm like what's the wording I'm trying to use? Sometimes it's like the whole why the fuck didn't you just put that bitch in a jar? And it's like
very get to the point.
Can you explain to me why I should put them in a jar?
Right. You're like, right. I agree, but also why?
But can you explain to me why I need to? And then shit be coming up out of the woodwork, and it's like, okay. She's like, you know, it's like you don't need to ask questions. You do as I say.
Just do it.
And she already done pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. I also find that, like, for me, I like to go to the ancestors first because they've been in a physical body in this sense. Yes. And so I feel like they can relate easier to what I'm trying to go. And that's not to say that like Deity isn't able to put themselves in my shoes, because they're able to put themselves in everything's shoes. But because of that, there's sort of this broader scale thing that even like time and shit is so different, that concept. Right. Whereas with the ancestors, even though their concept of time is different now, like they get it because they've had to be in it.
Mm-hmm. It's
and
very much
also
like
they have a vested interest because you're their namesake, and you know that kind of vibe too.
Right. And you're going to be one of them.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
It's very much like you know how you have those managers or those people that you ask, or teachers that you ask questions to, and they're like, where did you go to find, like, where did you look for the answer?
Mm-hmm.
And they sit there and they ask you questions to try and get you. That's Deity. Whereas
I feel called out.
Chris.
You asked me a question in mentoring, I'm gonna ask you 5 back.
Damn.
And then I'm gonna sit with you and be like, okay, no, take your time. I appreciate your honesty and taking a moment.
So that's why you're starting to work with the Morgan. I see how it is.
But that's how I was taught. That's how I was taught. My mother, I would bring something to her and she would ask me a question.
Yeah. Yeah. Answers questions with questions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, because then it's teaching the other person that thought process,
That's true.
as opposed to telling them that.
Yeah, true.
And
Very
that
true.
usually sticks a lot better. It's like that neural pathway thing.
Anthony, I think of a very specific vine when he tells me or talks about the morgue.
Uh-oh. Which vine?
Which one?
Which vine?
Yeah, which one? We're curious.
We want to know. Mark too.
Mark wants to know too. Are you gonna pull it up for us? Please pull it
You
up.
can't just dangle that fish in front of us and then take it away.
For real. Whip it out.
That's right.
I don't know which one that is.
You want to click on it?
Yeah, let me see.
Please, God, just let me have one good day. Oh my God, you again? Nice, buddy. Please, God, just let me have one good day. Oh my God, you again? Give it a rest, buddy. Please, God, just let me.
Yeah.
Very much so. Give your fucking self a good day.
Let's go. Yes. Well, and hell kind of has that edge too, where hell is just like, what are you prepared to do about it?
Quit giving yourself a bad day.
The Norse gods in general do that a lot. Anyway, they're very much like personal responsibility on things.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but what have you done? Where's your power here?
I also kind of feel like, and I've never worked with a Norse god, but I feel like they would laugh at you while they do it.
Sometimes it depends on who you pick.
Like Odin.
Odin's totally gonna laugh.
I could totally see that.
Yeah.
Just from what people have described to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Odin will absolutely laugh. Angerboda's gonna laugh her ass off at you. We're talking like the big full hag laugh, like that one that you just like, oh, I'm scared now. That's not good. Like that Angerboda gonna laugh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hal even laughs sometimes. She's a whiskey cigarette sort of sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, and it's unnerving too. But yeah, sometimes they are like that. Absolutely.
Bullies. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Chris is like, I know.
I'm just. See, this is what I'm saying. So I'm like, look, I'm not just gonna go to y'all with everything. I'm gonna go talk to my grandma who's a Cancer and likes to give fruitcakes. Okay.
I feel that myself.
I'm gonna pull out the Oracle deck before I get the tarot for this problem, and then if the Oracle deck doesn't work, then I'll get the tarot.
Right, because you know that tarot ain't gonna give you no breaks.
Right.
No breaks.
Well, and depending on which deck it is, too, right? Because some of them are brutal, but sometimes you need that, right? Like I think that's why a lot of mine are the sort of dark goddess aspect or whatever you want to call that. Just because, sometimes like I'll be stubborn.
Yeah.
I'm a Capricorn. I have a Leo rising. You can't nobody tell me nothing. Come on. And then I got a Cancer, so if you do tell me something, I'm gonna pout about it. And then we'll be like, fine, I'll passive aggressively do it your way and prove that it's wrong.
Yeah.
Yes. So all three of those is a mess. No. So sometimes I need some hell to be like, right. So what you gonna give for it?
Right.
Absolutely.
I'm in
Nathan
chat.
Reed, what?
His favorite. He quoted his favorite TikTok. It's awful.
Oh, it's awful.
It's awful. Yeah, I'll have to send it to you later.
Support.
I get no. Like we'll be playing video games and he'll play it. It's awful. It's so bad. It's so bad.
Oh my goodness.
Hi, Snow.
Hey, Snow.
Hello. Do it now.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Mark. So do you guys go to your deities on the daily? Is it something that's frequent? If it is, I'd be interested to hear from you on your thoughts around that too.
Right.
And I also think it depends too. Like, so I'm talking about ancestors as the first stop, but we also have like saints and stuff like that as well, depending on what your practice is, what your background is. Some people have certain orishas and stuff that they go to, things like that. So that's another option as well. There are
Absolutely.
guides, things like that. There are plant allies,
Mhm. All kinds
just
of spirits out
yep,
there and beings,
fae,
things,
elementals.
fae.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh
So
God,
I
Mark is in the
was
chat yelling, "Avenge me!"
avenge me. I will not. I'm sorry. I can't. I can't. It's so bad. It's so bad. You can just send it to Chris and she can
Just
watch
send
it when
it to
she has
me.
time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just send it
Because
to me.
I'm not playing it. I refuse. It's so bad.
Denied.
It's so bad, Mark. It's so bad. Find a new favorite.
Is this another one of those good for her moments or something? Oh, it's not good for her. You very emphatically shook your head no. Okay.
Like I'm gonna
No.
let my jowls shake with that.
Yeah.
I also think so with me too. We were discussing a little bit about how, like, with me, I was like, oh no, I was always like, my deities are gonna be abstract ideas.
I love that because you were like, I thought of myself as an abstract Wiccan. And I was like, can we back up on that? Because I need that on a shirt. I'm an abstract Wiccan.
Abstract. I'm an abstract witch. It's a new thing. It's a new thing. It's fine. It's a new tradition. It's fine.
Yeah.
I was very against like giving deity name for the longest time.
Yeah.
Because to me, I was like, why, Anthony? We're talking about deities, not curses, meaning Mark's TikTok. It is very much curse. So it's just interesting how at least I think it's interesting how that kind of came about in my practice.
Yeah.
It was like knocking on the door repeatedly. And like I told you with the Morgan, I was like, no, I'm seeing this everywhere because it's a bandwagon. I'm not going to hop on that.
Yeah.
Vile.
Yeah.
Recognition.
Hey, Vile.
I'm into it.
Yeah. Like, and I can understand that. I think a lot of people have the outlook of like, well, deity is so big, so branching, and I am so teeny.
It's so big for my tiny magic.
Yeah, right. And to put a name on that, I can absolutely see how it would be like, I don't know if I want to do that, or maybe uncomfortable to do.
Yeah,
especially
I was like,
for people maybe coming
wrap their
from
brain around it and give it a name.
Absolutely. Well, and I think that's why if we looked at it from the trunk aspect, right, that we talked about, I think that's why so many people exist on that level too. Not the only reason, but I think that's one of them. One of the effects of that is the fact that like they couldn't pick one name, so they did many.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't know. I think I remember being young and once along, and it was 84 years ago. No,
girl, you look like good for 84.
I know, right?
What's your secret? Vampirism?
It's the bloodbaths, baby. It's the bloodbaths. Yes. But no, so like Bathory ain't got shit on me. But yeah, so no, I remember being little and I was raised, for those who don't know, I was raised in sort of a mixed household where my mother is very much earth-based and practicing witch, and then my dad was Southern Baptist, and so I kind of went to church. I was really, I was high in Bible school and such, and then hi kitty, and then I also, howled under the moon with bonfires with a bunch of crones and such with my mom, and so I kind of had both.
Lucky.
Well, And the thing is like because of that, I do admit with that, I consider myself very blessed. I'm very grateful for that upbringing, that I was allowed to sort of blend and choose. But I also saw from a very young age that everyone kind of had a very different relationship with whatever took that place for them. And I even think that like atheists and people to that extent have things in their life that sort of takes that place for them, even if it's not a deity. There is something that they believe in that way that is sort of their guiding compass. A lot of them it's like science, things like that, or like what they can physically see, like those kind of things, sure.
Or they're agnostic and they're just calling themselves
right, or they're
atheists.
agnostic and they're like it's there, but again, I don't think I can name it, and I don't really care to name it. It just is doing its thing, and I'm doing mine.
You do.
So I think that there's So I think that there's there's a lot of ways to fill that space. You know, but for me when I was little, you fill that space. But no, so for me, when I was talking about deities suggestively, that's what I should have named this video.
Ooh, yes. And then we should have played Big God by Florence and the Machine in the background. Deities suggestive.
Open the steeple, see all the anyway. So yeah.
What's that word mean, Snow? I don't know what that word means.
They don't believe in anything, basically.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, absolutely. But see, even the belief of not believing in anything.
And believing in nothing, you're believing in something.
Right. So anyway, my point is not to say that they're like, oh no, you still believe in, like, you still have faith. Like, I'm not trying to take that away from them. I'm just saying, like, there's still something that they set their foundation on, right? There's still something that they consider sort of their guiding compass in that moment. Somewhere that they place their core beliefs. And so, that's all I'm trying to say. I'm not saying like agnostics are really just, or atheists are really just, people who believe in spirits. No, that's not what I'm saying.
No,
I'm just saying everybody has something to believe in. And in some cases, it is the belief that they don't believe in things.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, we have like the left-hand path folks who believe in themselves.
Yes.
Yeah, which is a wonderful thing too. Yeah, like they are their own God, right? So, it runs the gamut, and that's again why I say it's so personal to people. But when I was younger, though, I remember being told about God like the Christian God, right? And like how you see him in the Bibles and shit, like you got like the dude that's just chilling in the air, like superimposed face in the sky. Yes, Sky Daddy, very much so. And I remember seeing that. And for those who don't know, I am also Native, so like that image of like Sky Daddy combined with Creator in sort of Native beliefs, depending on like what tribe, etc. That name could vary dramatically, etc. Or outlook, but we'll just say Creator for the sake of simplicity right now. And I remember as a kid being like, I mean, like, it's kind of still just the dude in the sky looking down on you. Y'all just changed the skin color.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
can I ask because I'm not educated on Native American beliefs. So Creator in your upbringing, was Creator male? Was the Creator male?
So for me,
or is the Creator male? Am I wording that correctly?
So for me, it was very much so, and that I think that also heavily comes from the fact that a lot of the tribes around where I grew up and that I interacted with also had been, what is a nice way to say this?
whitewashed.
There isn't. Yeah, basically. To
Just say
where
it. Just say what it is,
Christianity
girl.
had been sort of bred in to that.
Mhm.
Because I mean, quite literally, there was a time where it was whipped out of you.
Yeah.
Your culture, your beliefs were whipped out of you. Your hair was cut, all of that, right? So, and still to this day, even in a lot of cases, that's a thing. So, a lot of times, like for instance, I wear a pentacle. I wore a pentacle for a long time, and when I would go to powwows to dance, I would tuck my pentacle out of respect. Now, a lot of people would say that a Native American belief will say singular in the sense or plural because they are very different and varied. Would be something that is more earth-based because there is a lot of look to the cycles of the land and being in touch with that and how the animals navigate those seasons and etc. And how we are very interconnected with that and have responsibilities to that and each other and etc. But because of a lot of that cultural trauma,
Mhm.
they are very, very Christian now. Even if they say they aren't a lot of times, that still is very heavily in it. And it's because I think in a lot of cases, it's because of the fact that it's been whipped out. Like
Mhm.
it's like the Christianity's been whipped into them.
Mhm.
And it's not just that way with natives. There are many minorities that have that situation. But yeah, like, so for me personally, depending on where I went and who I was speaking with, a lot of times they would use that interchangeably with Christian God.
Mm.
And so, that is sort of what I was dealing with growing up.
Right.
But
Right.
that's not necessarily the case everywhere. There are places where they don't, and they have preserved that, and they're very stuck and like, nope, that's completely separate.
Mhm.
And then there are people who are Christian and are native and like partake of those practices, observe those practices, but also still say they are Christian. So it's an interesting sort of merge in that, and it's very sort of it depends on the area, it depends on the tribe, it depends on that person
Right.
individually. And so just out of respect, because even though I didn't mean it offensively and I knew it wasn't offensive to me, it might be to someone else. When I
Right.
would dance in powwows, I would tuck my pinnacle.
Yeah. Can I ask what dance you did? I'm curious.
Oh, I was a women's traditional. So
Yay! Cool.
the ones, for those who don't know, the ones who are in usually the buckskin, and then they have their fan to their chest and a shawl that's wrapped and folded on their arm out like this, and they kind of do the slow bob
Mhm.
with the head up. And every now and then, at what's called an honor beat, when they would beat a lot harder, they raise their fan. So I was a traditional dancer. That's a traditional. The ones that you're seeing spinning with all the colorful ribbons, those are fancy dancers.
Yeah, yeah. That's what my friend Bonnie used to do. That she was a
Yeah.
she's
Look,
like,
fancy dancer
doll.
takes a lot of energy.
Yeah.
When they were like, so what, what are you choosing? What are you drawn to do? They were like, do you want to be a fancy? Because a lot of times kids will pick fancy. And I was like, that's a lot.
Me.
I'm not trying. No.
I gotta move how fast?
No. right. I gotta do what now? You got me dipping and spinning and shit. I'm good. Just hand me that fan.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you.
So
on
yeah, so for a long time I did women's traditional. It's been a little bit since I've danced in a powwow. I miss them. But that was another really important thing too, is because powwows nowadays, even if it's thrown by one tribe on, say, their reservation or something, other dancers, other drummers, things like that will come from different nations and they'll join. So it's it's interesting because it's an intertribal situation, which is good for communication with each other and strengthens it, which is a lot of what powwows we're about, but also it gives people a chance who are not native to see the different sort of versions and takes, not just physically in clothing, the regalia that they wear, which it's not a costume, it's regalia. Thank you. It's like ceremonial garb, basically.
Right.
Like you, how witches, we would wear cloaks, or robes,
Or nothing.
Yes, or just our cords. That is very much regalia. Regalia is sacred clothing to them. They put a lot of work, a lot of prayer into them. A lot of times when you see shawls and there's ribbons on them, that fringe has been put in one prayer at a time with every single piece. It's called a prayer shawl. and so there's a lot of energy that goes into that. There's a lot of time. The colors mean things, the patterns mean things, all of that. And so you think about people coming from different tribes to one place with that and showing this and sharing that. It creates an environment to educate people, which is something that I always loved too. Yeah, you do have people who are disrespectful sometimes. And then you have people who are being disrespectful without realizing it. But like the I love your costume. That was a pretty common one. Or like and they reach out to touch something, and like as witches we know you don't touch other people's shit.
No.
Right.
No.
So yeah. But no, in terms of creator and stuff like that, so for myself, creator was used almost sort of interchangeably with the Christian God when the people that I grew up with said that. Like that's kind of what they meant.
Gotcha.
But for myself, I always sort of thought of them as different, even though I saw that they were very similar.
Right.
And at one point, I remember just being like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go with creator. Thank you,
thank you. Have a nice day."
Because I can't relate. I'm like spilling my beans to this like dude in the sky,
Sky Daddy, if you will.
Yeah, this Christian Sky Daddy, and he's just like chilling, listening, but like I'm getting nothing here.
Yeah.
I'm feeling nothing. But if I talk to creator, if I talk to my ancestors, my grandfathers, and things like then I feel something.
Right.
So at a pretty young age, I remember differentiating, even though like perhaps it could be called a similar archetype in those situations. It was still very much like different energy signatures in terms of how it responded to me and how I responded to it. And I think some of that could also be the fact that for myself, a lot of my native stuff was not readily available. I had to dig for a lot of it because where I grew up in Virginia, we have the mountains and people fled to the mountains and disappeared in them. And so the elders that we have in the community deny for safety. Because guess why they ran in those mountains? A lot of the things I said earlier and worse. So in terms of survival, you just didn't talk about it. There's no native blood in us. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, you found that name on the roll. Interesting. Yeah, don't know what to tell you about that. Right. So
don't know.
It wasn't everybody, but there was a lot of that. And it's because of self-preservation, which is understandable.
Right. Yeah. Sad, but understandable.
Yeah. So
definitely.
There's a lot of that. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yep.
I like the comment that Snow left earlier too. So she said I don't know why it bothers me to see God or source as a man. It feels much better to go non-binary with it.
Yeah.
And
yeah. No, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh,
Nathan.
No, you're fine. I was just gonna say I think it's amazing that my parents were amazed that I became a witch, because I was the weird kid that, when my mom was pregnant with my sister, she was like, "Oh, I'm making your sister." And I was like, "Can boys have babies?" And no, boys can't have babies. How did God make us if boys can't have babies? I was like,
Clap back, mom.
make this make sense.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. No, so see, God and source to me are two different things.
Right, yeah.
So God to me is masculine energy,
Mm-hmm.
or at least stereotypically so.
Right.
Source to me is more expansive than that. Source to me is formless or every form, everything and nothing.
Everything
So,
and
like, to
nothing
me, I
all
can
at the
totally
same time.
understand. Yep, everything and nothing.
Oh my god.
A little bit of
yes.
everything all of the time. But yeah, so no, so to me, I can totally see non-binary in terms of source, and then I think again the archetypes, the ways that we relate to ourselves and stuff. I think that again goes into that of like places that we've sort of categorized and put. Look, as humans, it's like a thing. We like to put things in compartments.
Yeah.
And name them because it makes us feel like we have power in those places and can communicate those things. It does help to communicate in a lot of times. But yeah, I can totally see how that would be non-binary. Absolutely. And I think that is one thing that I struggled with a lot when I was younger, with Wicca specifically, when I was reading about it, because of the idea of the Lord and Lady being so divided and so polarizing in sort of what is masculine and what is feminine, that it took me a long time to, like, I was a big fucking tomboy as a kid, like hardcore.
I'm here for it.
And and like I would be like, okay, but like I don't relate to the lady and I don't relate to the Lord, so like where am I in this shit?
But also just how, like, so for me, it was very much like they were so, what's the word, like the roles even were very like
this is what they do, this is what they do.
Yeah.
Yep, she is passive, he is aggressive.
Whereas, like,
yeah.
for me, the Morrigan, I could totally see her pegging Dagda, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Did you just laugh? It's true.
But yeah, though. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Absolutely.
She's actually, you can't even call it pegging because she's a shapeshifter, so.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Dagda gay. He bi. He pan. They both pan.
It's, yeah. God, now we're getting into the sexual orientation of deities, and that's a whole other. Look, do we need to talk about Loki because he fucking horses and things?
I mean, you know.
But you know, no, but I think that the non-binary thing is actually a really good point when we talk about things like this, because there is sort of the traditional roles that we've been given in a lot of those things, and particularly, like, I'm using Wicca as an example, but there are many religions that do that. Many of them, both pagan and Christian.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I definitely had a time with that too, because I was like, you know, I don't really like this. I don't get it. So I didn't stay Wiccan for long.
Yeah.
I studied it a lot.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to understand it. I wanted to find a place to relate on that level. But when it came to those things, when it came to deity through that lens, it always felt weird to me. Like not weird like, ooh, this is strange and spooky, but weird like just I had no connection. You know, and then I look at the gods that I do work with, and a lot of them are females that are, I guess if we were speaking in traditional terms, quite masculine in their approach.
Are they what's the word? Are they butch?
Yeah. Oh, what was the thing that my friend once called me? Shit. What Oh shit.
Oh, I need to know now.
Oh shit. What was it?
Anthony said, I disassociate for a couple minutes, and what snaps me back to reality is hearing the Morgan pegging the Dada. And Snow said, it's your favorite song snapping you out of that close control.
No, oh god damn it. I can't remember. It was something Fem, but along the lines of yes, Butch. But yeah, like and then Odin is he does what he wants, you know? he don't care. He does what he wants. I feel like Odin would show up in a fabulous gown and not give a fuck if he wanted to, you know, and then kick your ass.
I'm here for that.
Like, absolutely. Some people might be offended by me saying that. I don't give a fuck. But yeah, like the relationship that I have with him, yeah, I could totally see that for sure.
Yeah.
But
Cool.
yeah, I think source when I think of source, or I think of like universal energy, or when I think of sort of the core of that all, I think of something that's outside of those roles, that's outside of those things. And even when I'm thinking of deities within those roles, they're fucking deities, so they can do what they want, right? It's like, you know, Hecate maybe isn't related to daisies, but if she brings me a daisy and says, yeah, I got this for you, bitch, I'm not going to argue with her. Does what she wants.
No,
So,
that's like with the Morgan. I told you I was also off put because I very much find symbology and signs, or whatever you want to call it, in nature. You know, for me, understanding deity is very similar to just understanding nature. Nature is nature. You know, you can't, you know, it is what it is.
It is actually, exactly. It acts as it is meant to act.
Right. So for me, when the Morgan came to me, I've always been an owl person, as I like to say. You know,
I'm sorry. We have the comments about the pegging are killing me right now.
You're welcome.
You heard it here. Nature is pegging.
You're welcome.
I'm back, guys. Hi.
I like Lunar Sarah's comment too. Not Dommy mommies.
Not Dommy mommies. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my god. Shit.
So some people would associate the Morgan with owls. I associate aspects of the Morgan with owls personally after working with her for a while. But at first I was really nervous because, you know, when I first, I didn't know a lot about her. I'm going to be honest. I didn't know a lot about her. And as soon as I thought, why are you laughing like that, sir? Oh, no. I'm scared of what the chat's going to populate now. So when you hear him over there, he has this old man laugh where he like the wheeze laugh.
I was hearing it.
Yeah.
I was hearing it.
But with the Morgan, the first thing I thought was she's all about crows.
Oh
though. Crows don't get along with owls, you know. So I was like, I don't know. And now I lost my point with that because of. As you should. You were laughing at your own comment before you sent it.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Oh, I've created a monster.
Why is this held for review? Approve it.
Because it says pegging?
No, this one doesn't. I don't know why it says that. I'm gonna read Nola's comment as well because for some reason it's not showing up fully. And it's not giving me this thing to review it. But I see you. Hi, Nola. And it says, or like bringing you a dandelion in the middle of your workplace at a time of year where they are nowhere to be found because shit's dead and covered in snow. That was fun to explain to coworkers. Yeah, exactly. It's like we're gonna sit here and hey Nola, yeah, like we're gonna gonna sit here and argue about symbolism and things like that with each other in terms of relationships with our deities, and that's something entirely personal. And Anthony has cracked himself up to the point that he is in tears.
Yeah, he's over there wiping his face.
Dying.
He's going.
Dying. We don't even have liquor.
No. Not even.
But yeah, so no, like it's such a personal thing, and it's hard too because like you'll see someone else's and you're like, wow, that's not my experience. And so it's really easy to get into that, like that mode of like, well, that's not it, right? Because your relationship isn't like that, but that doesn't mean theirs isn't.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. You don't know them. You don't know their life.
Right?
You don't know what they're working on. You don't know their lesson. You know yours, so maybe like eyes on your own paper.
Yeah.
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 And like YouTube is wonderful for sharing those things, and the platforms, social media platforms, are wonderful for sharing those things. And compare and contrast is, I think, just a natural thing that's going to occur, like pegging. And nature is pegging. That's like oh my god, that's great. Anthony, I love you.
That's funny shit.
He's like, why am I like this? Because it's great. That's why.
Because pegging, that's why.
Yes. But yes, no, exactly. Which is be arguing all the time about deity correspondences. Like, there are things. It's wonderful that the social media can allow us to compare and contrast and learn and on some level. But then there's a point where that has to stop, and like your relationship with your deity is just yours. If
Wait,
you have
Nola,
one,
was that a thing?
Know?
Did she really? Because I'll be honest, I can't read Irish. Was that a thing?
In your defense, didn't she peg Doc Diane Moore? She says.
I'm pretty sure she was a woman in lore when she and the doctor did it. I thought.
In personal experience. I mean, I'm back to your comment of like, is it pegging if she shapeshifts?
Right. Is it? Because I don't think it is at that point.
Here at crisashburn.com, we ask the real questions. Come get your mentorship with me.
Yes.
Shit.
She did. She did fuck the doctor. That's a thing.
Oh, she did. She did. She definitely did.
They did.
But
it.
they did. They did it. But yeah, I mean, like I like that you bring up the non-binary things now, because that is something that it was a conversation that went around like several years ago too. The idea of like what our definitions of divine masculine and divine feminine are, and that brought up that as well.
That's when that was shortly after I started YouTubing. Because
really?
Because I remember everybody was making that video of correspondences and, comparing the two and all the nice things.
I liked that conversation because it caused people to look at what their definitions are instead of kind of resting on their laurels on their defaults, and like and actually explain why those were that or why they felt that way to them. And I always love that kind of shit.
I miss those days of YouTube as well, when everybody would add their 2 cents into the conversation without you're wrong.
I think that's why I like lives so much.
Yeah.
Because with lives, you can kind of it feels almost sort of like a video response back in the day. For those who don't know, video responses back in the day were like quite literally, you could like tag it onto the video. So when you would go to see a video, you would see a list of the videos that are responses to that, like a conversation,
those were
right underneath of it. Just automatically. It wasn't like on the sidebar. It was like in the information. And so we had some really good conversations as a result of that. And I think lives are kind of an aspect of that. It's not quite the same because we don't have the video in there,
Right.
but you guys are able to talk back and forth and share your experiences, and we're able to sort of highlight them up here thanks with the help of StreamYard. Thank you, StreamYard. And you know, so there is sort of that interaction, that sharing of information with each other and practice. You know, and there's a responsibility that goes along with that too, which is why I say there's a line to everything. And so it's like, it's good to get to know those things. But if somebody isn't experiencing, for instance, an owl with the Morrigan, then like they're just not. That doesn't mean you aren't. You know, but also, like, let's be honest with ourselves. Like, if you're bullshitting yourself, you know you're bullshitting yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I have those moments sometimes too. Mama, is this a sign?
Mm-hmm.
Or the fuck.
Yep. Yep.
The fuck Absolutely. You think it is?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's just such a personal thing, and I think that it's difficult to respect those boundaries sometimes because it is so personal to us.
Yeah, especially when it's the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ancestral talk gets the same way too, because you know that's your family, and so a lot of people have very, very, very different views of family and relationships with family.
Absolutely.
And so some people who are, you know,
hang on, let me break my seal, but I have a thing to say about that. Like let me be. I got a thing to say about that because.
All right,
I'll be right back.
We will put a pin in that thing and peg it later. Anthony, have you recovered? Are you better now? So Anthony says, let's see. I feel like I drive away any deity with enough dad jokes, and I don't know if that's something to be proud of. I mean, I feel like there are some that would be specifically drawn to you because of the dad jokes, to be fair. So there's that. But yeah. Unique to each person, absolutely. So that's like, I don't know, we're talking about how personal it is. That's like me saying that, you know, Hecate and Hel and Odin I have all the same relationship with, and I don't. Even within me being the same person, I don't have the same relationships with all the different deities, right? So why would we expect that of someone else who's an entirely different person?
With enough dad jokes, and I don't know if that's something to be proud of.
Right?
Funny.
I said that there would definitely be some deities that like would appreciate that and be drawn to.
Absolutely.
Just for that.
Absolutely. So my thing was too, some people are just so stuck to, like, especially, I guess I'm thinking of more like recent ancestors that were recently, you know, they hold on to that earthly, how they were here, you know, if you will.
Yeah.
And I've actually had some experience. I don't know about anybody else, but I've had some experience with some family members who were not trying to be disrespectful, but less than friendly, you know, in life. And they're completely different.
Yes.
After they cross that veil. Completely different.
Yeah. And that has to do with a lot of different factors, but, you know, they can heal when they go over there. They can... I call it the forest and tree aspect. Like some of them remain the tree for a little while, and then some of them start to see the forest. And once you kind of go to the forest element,
picture, if you will,
then you know they have access to a lot of different lives, if you prefer to believe that, or they have a lot of access to the different factors throughout life that they could not see when they were in these skin suits. And and so like I think that creates a lot of healing sometimes. And if they're willing to work on that, if they're wanting to let go of that, then they do. And so it's kind of like, you know, when someone moves away for a while and then they move back and they're totally different and you're kind of maybe more inclined to be like, oh, bitch, you've changed. But really, like, it's just the natural progression of how they've evolved.
Right.
And it, it's not, it's just a journey that you didn't see. You weren't there for to witness it, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't helpful or needed or that it isn't authentic.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, I don't remember where I was going with that, but like that vibe could carry over to this topic very easily, where like we may have missed their healing portions when they
Right.
go over.
Right.
Or maybe we helped with it, because that's another part of doing ancestral work.
Mm-hmm.
But like that absolutely does happen sometimes, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they don't want to let go of it, and they're very stuck in that, and it can get very draining and sticky. But when that happens, I always looked at it like you have tons more that have healed.
Yeah.
Than that. It's more often than not that they heal, especially looking throughout time with how many we have. And so the likelihood is that you have, a whole big gang around you, while you've got some few that are on the outside of that.
Yeah.
And it's not that they're going, you are not allowed here. It's that you're not allowed here yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a different message, right? It's not that you
Right.
cannot heal. That's what I appreciate about Hel. People who don't know about Hel, her, like the Norse goddess, her
Not the place.
her
people.
palace, yes, her throne room is in sort of like the worst of the worst place. So the place where people go that like other people don't understand them, they maybe see them as monsters. That's where her throne room is. And it's because who else but her is going to see that they were a brother, that they were a mother, that they were, and like what their potential is. And so there is a level of like, no matter what you do or what you've been through, you are still part of that web.
Mm.
You're still part of the process. You're still playing that role. And there's still healing to be done. And sometimes it's pretty severe healing. And it's pretty heavy. And what do we know about people when they are extremely traumatized? We know that they kind of go into dog backed in a corner mode where everything is a threat. And so, I think Hel is someone who, she puts her throne room there because she will sit amongst the dogs who think that they're being attacked and just kind of calmly look at them and be like, are you done? When you're done, we can go eat, but are you done
quite
now?
finished?
Yes. Well, not even like, are you quite like attitude? It's just, are you done?
Yeah.
Very flat. Judge, jury, executioner. Are you done?
As a matter of
No?
fact.
Okay.
We'll wait.
I'll be here.
I'll wait.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are you done?
I'll wait.
Okay, let's go. So there is a level of that. But that does not mean that she thinks they're without, that they're above taking responsibility for those things.
Mm.
There's still a responsibility. I mean, that's part of healing.
Yeah.
It's part of healing. Yeah.
Yep.
But no, so like, and that could be said for perhaps why our reactions to each other in our own personal practices, right, turns out to be like, oh, well, you can't believe in the, like, they can't be this correspondence with you because it's not this correspondence with me, because then we feel a little threatened, like maybe we're wrong. Maybe our relationship isn't as deep as we thought.
Don't get me started on not using lavender for money, Chris.
Do you know what? It's so funny too, because like lavender is a really good example, because a lot of people say that lavender helps with headaches, but in my family there are several women who lavender gives us headaches.
I've heard that about plenty of people. Yeah,
like it gives me a fucking headache. And it's multiple strands of it. So, because I've tried. So, that's another example of like different strokes for different folks, and different pagan for different pagans. You know.
Ah! We out here breaking down them barriers.
Yeah. Breaking down something.
Anthony, don't even start.
Yeah. No, Anthony. No.
Don't even.
Yes. Yeah, no, don't get me wrong, Alondra. I do like lavender. I just like it. I have to use it in very specific ways. And also sometimes when the ancestors are like, yeah, put that lavender in that blend, I'm like, damn it.
Now, see,
Yeah.
me, it's one of my faves. So,
See, I know a lot of people like that. But I also, flowers in general, my allergies are not a
Yeah.
fan of. So I do the same thing with rose. And they're like, oh, yeah, put that rose attar in it. I'm like, oh,
I think it's
Like,
all about
it's
the
going to smell like
balance,
grandma's
you know?
house.
Yeah. Well, so I like to describe rose in two different ways. So
Yeah.
you've got what I like to call biker rose smell. And you've
Okay.
got like a spring rose water smell.
Yeah, the light one. Yeah. That's true. Biker rose smell. See, to me, biker rose smell is like grandma's house stale smell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, like the perfume that has been sitting on that dresser for way too fucking long and it is concentrated.
You get drunk just from
it just
sniff.
smells like alcohol.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It used to be a light color and now it is fucking brown.
And now it's like, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's got that little woven pump.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pastel pink.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know
It has a
exactly what you're
smell to
talking
it.
about. Mm-hmm.
Y'all are smelling it right now, thinking about it.
Yes.
I know you are.
Yes, I
It's a
am.
very specific smell.
It is, yeah. It's also
So-
kind of like that smell of old jewelry.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
the whole thing too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And mothballs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's all about your relationship with the spirit, y'all. That's what we're
It
doing.
is. And smells, apparently.
And
And
smells.
pegging.
And pegging.
What's your relationship with pegging? Yeah. It's Morgan approved.
You're fucking welcome.
Absolutely.
You're fucking welcome, Vicky. You're fucking welcome.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so I don't know. I like this conversation. I feel like we were going a bunch of different places and we hit on a lot of those topics.
Yeah.
But like I guess the moral of this entire story is like you do you and eyes on your own paper and also like, you know, maybe entertain how you see deity if you haven't already in terms of like what part of the tree would you live on or do you live on most?
Or do you just visit the whole tree?
Right.
and-
Or do you even worry about the tree in general? Like maybe it's an agnostic thing and it's just there
Mhm.
or it's not there at all because there are plenty of atheist witches and things like that. But if that's the case, then I would ask like, how would you view your beliefs in science and in what you can see? Like, how does that then break down into a structure as well? Which I assume would go very much into sort of biology and stuff like that, which breaks down into things on its own, we know. So, you know, is that something where like you work with the whole of that in terms of your self as like we're saying like as an atheist witch? Do you break that down or do you do sort of like the general of like, nope, this is just a system and how it works? Because even that can be sort of applied within that area.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I
don't
swear
know.
one day we're going to, one very far away day, we'll find that we're like the whole, it kind of reminds me of the whole cellular situation
Mhm.
and breaking that down into the whole atom situation.
Yes.
And how atoms look like a little teeny tiny universe.
You know what fucked me up as a kid?
Give it to me. I'm
a
ready.
lot of things, but this particularly fucked me up.
Same. Same.
So
Let
the
us
thing that
count the
fucked me
ways.
up. Yes. Let us lament. No, the thing that night kitty. Sleep well. But yes, so the thing that messed me up is when I was younger and we were doing a lot of healing modalities. My mom was taking me places like that, learning Reiki, things like that. And
Lucky.
Donna Eaton's energy medicine, etc.
Can we go back in time and can I be adopted by your mom?
She will adopt all of y'all. I tell you right now. She is a Southern mom. She will adopt all of y'all as long as you leave her alone and let her sleep when she's sleeping.
Totally cool.
She does not play about that.
Unless
when
the house
sleeping
is on
women
fire,
wake,
then I
mountains
gotta
move,
wake
and
you up.
walls shake. Okay.
Then I gotta wake you up, Mom. If the house is on fire, I gotta wake you up, Mom. I mean, I'll put water on it and try and put it out, but like, you know.
Funny story about the house catching on fire.
Oh no.
This wasn't with my mom. This was with my dad. My dad was cooking. He didn't do that often, and he answered the door because his buddy Ringo had come over. Because I live
Ringo.
I live in the South. Well, I did. Anyway, so he's talking to Ringo. I come downstairs, and I'm like going to get a glass of something or whatever, and I'm walking through the kitchen, and I realize that the kitchen is on fire. Like about that casually too. I look over at the stove and the flames are high going up onto the cupboard. And I'm like, well, that's not supposed to be like that.
Dad's barbecuing. So
I get my drink. I continue through and get my drink because we had a goal.
Me. And then you just casually pass Dad and you're like.
And then I go up to Dad and I'm like, hey, Dad. And he's like, not now, baby, grown folks is talking. And I'm like, Dad. And he's like, not now, baby, grown folks is talking. And then I'm like, okay, but the kitchen's on fire. And then I just keep walking. And he's like, what? Shit. Ringo, I'll call you back.
Yes.
And like runs. All the cupboards were like soot black. And Mom gets home and is just like, no more.
Never again.
Never again. Yeah.
You done.
You know, but I got my drink. So that's
goal.
Right. Like grown folks is okay, but the kitchen's on fire. Like,
right?
Sure. Do with that what you will, adult. Anyway.
Right. I'm gonna go back to my room. Hopefully we don't die.
Yeah. Let me know if I need to run out.
Right.
I think that's funny. Is probably the most Capricorn thing I've ever done in my life. All right, but the kitchen's on fire. Fuck it. It's your problem now. Mm-hmm. That's not my responsibility.
Anyway, but you were saying you were going around Reiki healing things with Mom.
Yeah. So the thing that fucked me up is when I learned that everything, like nothing is solid.
Yeah, no.
Nothing is truly solid. Everything is vibrating. Everything.
Yes.
This mic.
When you touch things, you're actually mixing into it a little bit.
Yeah. Fucking like people who are like, oh yeah, I'm really into spirituality, but I don't know about science. I'm like, why? Because like it's the same shit.
It really is.
Nothing is solid. We are in the Matrix. But really, like as a kid, I was like, what? Like I remember touching my desk chair. Like, it feels solid.
I don't think I'm going through it. But then we get into the whole, so that's how Houdini did it. Because I honestly believe he did that. Yeah. I honestly believe he did.
Yeah. I feel like there's just so much about it that we don't like. Science is still trying to find terminology for things. Yeah. And that's the point of it, is like discovering that and rearranging things, right? So like yeah, like the nothing is fully solid thing, fuck me up. And then you're thinking about like energy work at that time. So I'm thinking about moving energy, working with things that are stagnant or considered blockages. And so energy wants to flow, energy wants to move, right? And so it can't be created or destroyed, things like that. And so I'm just like, we got all this shit around us. And it's just vibrating. And no matter where I put it, it's just always there.
Yeah.
We are the ultimate hoarders. Like without even having to hoard. Like that was my brain. I was like, I have everything because I have nothing. Like, so all these adults are like, yeah, we're gonna do this and work out this energy and blah, blah. And I'm like fucking like,
and Chris is just like,
I'm like 11 having like an existential crisis. We're probably like 12 or 13. But yeah, I'm having like an existential crisis where I'm like, I have everything and nothing.
Been there. That was me as a kid, though. That was me too. Like I remember sitting and asking my aunt, and we were watching some movie, and I can't even tell you what the movie was because I was so in my mind. And before I knew reincarnation was a word, obviously, because I was a little kid, I was like, so like when we die, because they were all Baptists, I was like, so when we die, we go to heaven? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, but then what? And they're like, you're in heaven with your family.
That sounds boring. Why would I want to go hang out?
That's exactly what I was like, that sounds awful.
Yeah.
Well, what about raccoons? Do they go to heaven?
Right. Well, it's all dogs.
Yeah.
All dogs go to heaven.
That's such a good cartoon.
It's in the movie. But yeah, like I had the similar, like they're talking about like, yeah, we will all ascend to heaven and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, and then we just gonna like stroll around some clouds and wear some fucking like loincloths. And we got all this money spent on this gold gate. And like, we're not even doing anything.
What is money?
Right. Well, what is money? But also like, so look, I am an introvert. People probably don't realize this. I am an introvert and I just play an extrovert on TV, y'all. Like, I don't... I am INT/F, depending on me, J-A type, if we're doing...
I'm the type that can't remember what type it is.
So an INFJ, got it. But, I'm very introverted. I recharge with that. So like you're sitting here telling me as a kid that for the rest of eternity, basically, I'm gonna have to talk to people. That they're just always gonna be there. We don't have any houses, or it's just clouds.
Ew.
No,
we have a house. Like remember, we have a house.
Right, but it's all one.
We would all be in one.
I'm not trying to be the Brady
privacy.
Bunch. I'm not trying to be the Brady Bunch in the afterlife.
The Brady ton.
Yeah. Like, I don't want any of that.
Yeah, no.
So, even as a kid, I was like, that sounds horrible.
Did you ever sit as a kid and, like, imagine yourself after death? Or, like, experience... Like, I don't know how to explain it, but, like, the passing through part.
Yeah, the passing through the gateway of it. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely did. Well, I also, keep in mind medium, right? So I was talking to spirits from when I was pretty young, and I would ask them about it too. And all of them gave different answers. The ones who would answer. So I think at a pretty young age, I came to the terms of the fact that like that's another thing that's just really personal, and it depends on where you are and how it happens and what you're seeking. And yeah. So yeah. Absolutely.
I wasn't really supported. I was like, hey, Mom, this guy in the bathroom. No, you're dreaming.
Yeah.
I was dreaming.
Right. No, this was not a dream.
Like the whole, I've had the whole experiences in like The Sixth Sense, with like
Yeah.
the boy in like in his bedroom wanting to pee, but he's scared to go to the bathroom.
Yep. Yeah. So for me, I had that some, but
Some of them are a little scary. Some of them.
yeah. Well, and I think that's also a thing too. I'll say to people is like, if you're having issues with that and you do work with your ancestors, they're really good at filtering that out for you.
Really? I never
Yes.
thought about that.
So like they can sort of shoulder to shoulder around you, circle of ancestors, if you will, or sphere, and they can sort of be your filter. So like you can be like, hey, I don't want to see people in sort of their final form, if you will, their death form,
Okay.
anymore. Could you please filter that for me?
You know, oddly enough, I don't see a lot of people that way, though.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Well, and I don't think that everyone necessarily does or is meant to, but I think that a lot of times, especially if we're talking about like kids and things like that,
yeah.
That can be really hard to process. And I am
Yeah.
grateful to my ancestors when I was younger because I think they filtered it a lot for me. My mom probably asked them to, but
that would make sense.
But it wasn't until I was older that I really started getting a lot of the visuals of things or the physical sensations, because I am sort of the physical empath and the emotional. So like I didn't, because you think about being a kid and taking some of that on, that's rough. Right. So they filtered a lot of that out. So that is something that anyone out there who has a kid who's dealing with it, or maybe they personally are dealing, if you have a relationship with your ancestors, they can act as sort of a filter for you to sort of go between what leaks to you in terms of information, where they have to go through them first.
Sweet.
Yeah. And that helps. But I have taken you for way more than an hour.
It was fun, though.
Yeah, it was fun. It was. Is there anything you want to share or say before we end this? Anything you got going on? I know you got a bunch of stuff.
Girl, let us count the ways. Let us count the ways. So, check out my channel. Check out Drunken Divinations every other weekend,
which happens on his channel.
Yes, it's right after Double Feature Fridays.
Yep.
It's on
which
Saturday.
Happens on this channel.
Yes. And Wine and Witchcraft is also part of Witchy Weekends. They're pretty cool.
Yep.
And
they're the following day after Drunken Divinations
on Sundays. Yes. And Sabbath Social. If y'all haven't checked out Sabbath Social yet, you should do that. We got a lot of stuff coming up. So
absolutely.
Yeah, we got sabbathsocial.com. We got YouTubes, Instagram, all the things. I'm everywhere.
I'm every woman. It's all in me. Anything you want, baby, you're naturally.
Yes. That's really good. I don't think I have any.
Okay. I will share it real quick for me. For those of you who don't know, I switched off of Patreon. That doesn't exist anymore. Like, it's there, but don't sign up for it. I'm just moving things off of it at this point. And it's on the website now. All of my events and everything are through the website. So Death Tints and Monday Morning Divination, which is a free thing. It's every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern in a Zoom call. We come in and we pull cards. All you got to do is RSVP. It's free. You get sent the email with the link. But I've got that. We got rituals coming up. There's classes. I got plans in the works for classes that are like program segments that are lives. So that's exciting. I'm looking forward to doing that more now. My format has changed entirely. So go check out the website, check out the forum, sign up as a site member. That's free too, and you'll get access to the forum. And there's some groups as well. There's a yearly membership that would give you 50% off of any of the paid events, which is a pretty good fucking deal.
That's a big percent off.
It is 50% off. Yeah. And also the podcast. The podcast has been dead for a few months. For those who don't know, I had COVID. There was a family emergency that was pretty rough for a while. Before that, I had the flu for like 10 days and was bedridden. Like, it's been a mess. I had bronchitis.
Life has been extra lifey.
Woo!
Life's been extra, I think, for a lot of people.
Yes. So that's why the podcast has not been getting updated, but I will be recording a new episode this coming Tuesday and hope to have that out soon. And for
if you're
those
new
of
to
you,
the podcast, there's plenty of episodes because
There
I'm
are.
not caught up yet.
there are, I think there's 12 at this point.
Yeah.
And they're several hours. And they're hilarious, if I do say so myself, because I just did. And
Accurately
yeah.
so.
Absolutely. And very chill, but a lot of good info. And so yeah, and then what was the other thing? There's something
Good to
else that
work
I was
out
supposed to
too.
fucking mention.
If that's a thing. If you work out too.
Oh yeah.
Podcast.
Absolutely. Or commute. It'd be
Yeah.
really good to commute too.
Absolutely.
What was the other thing though? There was something that I was specifically wanting to mention.
Remember, Chris, remember, Chris, remember.
Fucking I wish. Morning, divination, and things like that. I don't know. Cheese is great. Always cheese. Yes, Caitlin, thank you for the cheese reminder. Cheese is amazing. I love cheese. Down at the Discord, they used to call me the cheestis. It was a whole thing. I had a little animated like mouse eating cheese.
That's
crown.
adorable. I'm here for that.
Yeah, I was too, literally. And I don't remember now. I got nothing. But either way, if you haven't already, please go to the website, sign up for the newsletter, because that's where I'm going to be updating people, or follow me on Instagram. Also, follow BlueNight on Instagram as well. Yes.
It's a whole other experience.
It is. And TikToks. We both have TikToks.
Yeah.
That's a whole other experience too.
That's a whole other thing.
I love how you take the little clips. I love those.
Yeah. Just pick random moments and drunken bivs, and I'm like,
Yes.
this one.
Absolutely.
This one.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's
Caitlin,
I don't
you're
know.
here just in time to see us go.
To see us log. I know, right? Sorry about your luck.
It's a good thing it's recorded.
But it's good to see your face, and I hope you're well. But yeah, also let's see. So not this Friday, but next Friday, Drunken Divinations is Saturday. Friday is double feature Friday.
Did you talk about the death tents? Didn't you say that was coming up? Did you talk about that?
So I do have a death tent. Actually, you know what? Let me.
Was that it?
For that.
You're
I don't
welcome.
think so, but
I'm
doing
trying.
Thank you.
The bitch has a lot going on, okay? Go to her website.
I do, and I also still have like the post-COVID fog thing where like I will completely.
That's gonna be there for a few months. I hate to tell you that, but it's gonna be there.
I know. It's very frustrating at times. Because
Caitlin,
otherwise I'm all better.
Yeah.
But all right.
I had a racing heart for the longest time and shortness of breath for the longest time too. Did
you go catch it?
I had it back in December of 2020 or 2020 when it first, the OG when it was first, when everybody had to get it, you just had, it was all the rage.
Yeah. So just real quick, every Monday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, there is a Monday morning divination. The death tents, double feature Fridays on the 12th at 9 p.m. On the 13th, I have a live healing ritual at 1 p.m. These are all Eastern times. The 16th of this month, I have another death tent at 6 p.m. There's a ritual gathering for the new moon at 6 p.m. on the 26th. A double feature Friday again on the 26th, right after that. And then, lots of things.
All the things.
But I remember the other thing I wanted to say in reading that is that from now on, every Friday, y'all will get something. So you'll get a live like this, or you'll get a double feature Friday, you will get a recorded video. So just expect things on my channel on YouTube every Friday.
More juicy stuff.
Absolutely.
Like,
And I
share,
want to start putting the
subscribe.
podcast episodes on here as well.
Yes.
So you will probably be seeing older podcasts that have already come out being put on here, like on days that probably aren't Friday. Just it's fine.
It'll be
New
okay.
platform.
Just enjoy it.
Yeah, new content. Who this?
Yeah.
As well as taking things off of private that were Patreon only, and making them public now. So things that are like 4 years of content, guys.
I'm here for that.
4 years of content.
I'm
So
here for that.
also, occasionally you might want to roam through my channel because there's going to be stuff that's going to be made public so that you can see it. So yeah.
Give me a reason to go digging. Give me a reason.
Exactly. Go digging. If you take one thing away from this, let it be that nature is pegging.
That's
And
good.
Caitlin, you're just tuning in, so I'm going to let you sit with that and figure out what it means to you. Because
Many blessings.
yeah. But yeah, pagan pagans. Absolutely. No. So thank you for being on, Nathan.
Thank you for having me. This was so
Yeah.
much fun.
I adore
Much
talking to you.
needed.
Yes. Very
Have-
chill, very
I'm
chill.
all have me back anytime. Just ask.
I would love to.
Please do.
I would love to.
I always
Absolutely.
love chatting with you.
That extends to Anthony as well over there.
Oh, he's letting the dogs out now.
That's fine.
Maybe I'll tell him.
You're like, no, you don't get to. It's just me.
It's just-
Absolutely. Where's
That was
the
a good
fan
one.
when you need it?
Ah, damn. Where's that damn thing? Oh, well.
Just yes. All right. I love your faces. Thank you again, Nathan. Have a good evening. Everybody, have a really good weekend. I will see you hopefully on Monday at the Monday morning divination. And if not, I will see you next Friday. And he'll see you next Saturday.
I'll be there
Absolutely.
Friday too. I'll be in that chat.
Yeah, well, he'll see you there too. Absolutely. So yeah. So I love your faces. Have a good, wonderful, magic, witchy. I hope you get pegged if you want to get pegged or go pegging. Weekend.
Bye.